Hi there, this is Dylan from British English Coach, and this is another in the series of videos in the Master Polite English course. So in this video we're going to talk about another of the politeness principles, and this one is sensitive correction is vital. Sensitive correction is necessary to communicate politely. Now, when we make a mistake and someone corrects us, we can feel pretty stupid. Nobody really likes being corrected. So it's essential that you correct someone in a sensitive way. And if you do that, you'll be communicating with them politely. So let's say, for example, I said something like, the capital of the United States is New York. Now that's not true. I've made a mistake. So you could correct me in different ways. You could say, you're so stupid. How many times do I have to tell you? The capital of the United States is Washington. Now, how would I feel if you corrected me that way? That's right, I'd feel pretty stupid. I'd feel pretty small. And I'd probably hate you for correcting me in this way. I'd probably be quite angry with you in this moment. And that's based around the concept of saving and losing face. If I have this positive public image where I feel I'm an intelligent, knowledgeable person, and you correct me really directly, I will lose face and I'll feel pretty stupid in public. It's not polite. Now, if I said the capital of the United States is New York, and you said something like, New York, I think the capital is actually Washington, you'd be correcting me in a much more polite way. And I could say, that's right, thanks. And my face wouldn't be lost. I'd still have this fairly positive public image. So let's look at some ways we can actually correct in a sensitive way. So if someone says she works in a bank and you know she doesn't, you know she works in a school, you could just quite quickly apologize, then correct. And you can do that just by saying, I'm sorry, she works in a school, not a bank. And you wouldn't really offend the other person too much by doing that. You could also use the word actually, she works in a school, not a bank. That's another way of saying sorry, really, and correcting. Now, you could also question and repeat what the other person said, but you do it with a certain intonation to indicate that the other person has made a mistake. She works in a bank. In a bank? Did you say she works in a bank? And by saying that, I'm giving the other person the option to correct themselves, to correct their slip, to correct their mistake. Now remember, we talked about one of the most important considerations in order to communicate politely is you give the other person options. So by saying, in a bank, did you say she works in a bank? I'm giving the other person the option to correct themselves. New York, did you say the capital of the United States is New York? Maybe that will indicate to the other person that they've made a mistake, and they could say something like, New York, no, I meant Washington. And they don't lose their public positive image. They don't lose face. Now, you could also present another option. If the person says she works in a bank, and she doesn't, you think she works in another job, you could say, in a bank, I thought she worked in a hospital. And that gives the other person the opportunity of agreeing with you and correcting their mistake, or perhaps saying, no, I'm sure she works in a bank. Okay? And then you can decide whether it's really important that you continue with this conversation and correct the information. So again, if you said, or if someone said, the capital of United States is New York, you could say, New York? I thought it was Washington or Boston. You're giving the other person the option to agree or disagree with your correction. Okay? So it's done in a very, very soft way, and you're indicating, not forcing the other person to change their mind and to change what they've just said. Okay. So these are 3 ways you can correct in a sensitive way. You can apologize and then correct. I'm sorry, the capital of United States is actually Washington, not New York. You could also question what the other person just said. New York? Did you say it was New York? Okay. And maybe the other person will remember or will change what they've just said and they don't lose face. And the other way you can do it, you can present another option. New York? Oh, I thought it was Washington. Or New York? Ah, I always thought it was Washington. That's what I believed. You're presenting another option which can indicate to the person that they maybe have made a mistake and they can change what they've just said. Much more polite than directly correcting them. Okay, so I hope that helped. So if people do say things which you know are not correct, try to get into the good habit of correcting them politely. Okay? So this is British English Coach, and I'll see you soon for the next video. Bye for now.